Good morning. I hope everyone's having a great day out there. This is Kinyofu, and I am joining you today for the topic, which way? So my apologies for beginning a little late. We had to work on some things. And good morning, Zoom. Welcome, welcome. I'm hoping everyone's having a great day. We're going to be doing this topic called which way, and what you're going to need. Well, first of all, hi, Stacy. Hi, Adam. Hi, Abimbola.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings. Hi, Sakia. And my video off people, Denise and Kaisha. Come on to video so I can see your faces.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kinyofu.
Good morning. Okay, so you're gonna need, everybody's gonna need pen and paper. This is school today. Pen, paper, and a thinking cap. So if you need to go run and get your thinking cap, go ahead and do that. All right, because we're going to be learning to think out of the box, or being in the space of thinking out of the box. So I'm grateful for you all. Invite folks so they can join in on this conversation. And we'll be beginning. Oh, that was interesting. Who could say that? We will be beginning shortly. Yes, like I said, pen, paper, water. Did I say water? Where's my water? And thinking cap. We're going to do quite a bit of discussion today, and you all can share something.
Recording in progress. Recording.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. Welcome, Joyce. Thank you, thank you. Shawnee, hey, Shawnee. Phoenix, hi, welcome.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together.
Good morning. All right. So let's get to it, right? I'm going to be telling a story today. This is a story about how people were moved from church and state to divide themselves. They were moved by church and state to divide themselves and give up their rational thinking. So we could be in this space today. As you are listening to what I'm saying and seeing what I'm showing you, I want you to think, does it sound familiar? Are we in this space today? All right. Moral is, don't believe the hype, right? Know who you are, what you are, and where you come from. Okay, so those are the things that we always need to know. who am I? Some of you know who I am, but I just want to say that when I was a young adult, I was beginning to learn about myself. And I did that. I was curious about my history. I've always known my African heritage. I didn't know any very much detail. I knew that there was greatness that comes from in my bloodline, the fact that I'm African American, right? It was just like, okay. And I learned Black history from my family. And then I learned it from my grade school teacher, my 5th and 6th grade teacher, Miss Jordan. So when I was a young adult, when I heard about organizations like First World and the African Poetry Theater and all these great institutions that were teaching us about our history, I dived right in. And in that, I learned about African-centered religions. So I kept my eyes and ears open, and then as I was having children, I joined the organization called Asara Set. Asara Set is a Kemet, Egypt-based spiritual religious organization that teaches you how to meditate and call upon energies to align yourself with the universe. And so my family, that's what my family did. Also, and you'll know me as a breastfeeding educator, childbirth educator, postpartum and labor support doula, midwife assistant, all trained and experienced in, I put my hands in and on women and babies. It brought me to a space of connecting with that part of nature and birth and the joy and the juiciness of life and death. And it allowed me to see the other side of the mirror, right? To look past the indoctrination of what's in the box, the indoctrination of who's in charge and what I can't do. So ever since then, I've been pushing the envelope and learning myself so that I could be more connected to my spiritual being. So what does that have to do with you all? You will see. In a few days, you or somebody you know are going to be participating in an event that's going to have you begging, dressing up, play dress up or giving, right? Playing dress up, begging, or giving. And this day, is Halloween, okay? So this is a story of Halloween, but it's a representation. It's just a representation of the beginning of anything that we've experienced that looks different from the present than it did in the beginning. So for Halloween, there was a beginning, and today we see it in the present space, and it's different than how it began. And right now we're living an experience that is the beginning. And at some point in the future, 20 years or 120 years, it's going to be that present moment, and it's going to look different. So we want to stay connected to where the truth is, our truth, and not be in that uncomfortable position of recognizing the truth too late. Okay, so again, I want you to get your pens and paper out. And you want to write down, as we go through this conversation, I want you to write down memories and thoughts and concerns and questions and anything that comes to your mind as I'm speaking. I'm going to be talking about Halloween, but you might be like, oh yeah, this or that, all right? So tell me in the chat, why do you or yours celebrate Halloween? Tell me. No judgment, just share, I'm curious. In the chat, you can even come off onto video and share. So do you celebrate Halloween? Have you ever celebrated Halloween? What did you do? What did you do? What does celebrate look like? What are your thoughts about Halloween? All right, so I see. Shawnee says no, but I have in the past. Yeah, so tell me about the past. Imani, yeah, so tell me something, Imani. This is interesting. I have gone trick-or-treating. I don't remember buying any costumes. I don't remember my mother, here she comes too. My mother's coming in. I don't remember her buying any costumes for me to wear. She would make things, or we would repurpose things. And when I was really young, walk up and down the street and on the block ringing bells, houses that I knew, and get candy. I don't know why I did that. We just did it. That was a thing to do. Didn't ask any questions. So I don't see anybody coming off of screen or videos. Z says, I celebrated Halloween many years ago. My daughter celebrates. And Nigel says, my mother made me a witch costume and hosted a costume party for me as a child, but I was not allowed to trick or treat growing up. And Abambola says, I was a part of how we were social. It was a part of how we were socialized growing up. Denise says, I don't celebrate. We had parties, but my mom didn't really allow us to go out trick or treat. Yeah. And from Facebook, Charmaine says, I have never celebrated Halloween. And Kaisha says, I allow my children to participate in Halloween activities because it's fun for them. We always go trick or treat. Yeah, Halloween is fun, definitely. When I was growing up, I was made to be scared of Halloween because I think there was a razor blade and candies. People were doing stupid stuff. Okay, so Ariel says, it's a time to party and a day to be something else than we were and dress up. And Nigel says, I did not allow my eldest son to trick or treat. He may have gone to a costume party once or twice as a child growing up in New York City. Now that I live in the South, it's really big here in my community. It's a whole thing. I do not like it. Yeah, I didn't raise my children they didn't do any trick or treating. They didn't dress up, didn't do anything. Come October 31st, we came home, watched movies or whatever. We didn't do that. And here in DC, it is a big thing, and I'm enjoying it, actually. What I'm enjoying is how people get into decorating their houses. But they do that for all the holidays. It doesn't even matter about it being Halloween. So, thank you for sharing. I'm gonna move on. Did you know, all right, raising your hand. I want you to raise your hand. Your digital hand. How do you do that? You go to reactions. If you click on reactions, you see there's a word that says raise hand. I want you to raise your hand if you know this, okay? And because not everybody's on video, so I'm not going to see you if you raise your actual hand. So my question is, how many of you knew that Halloween is an adaptation of a pagan religion? I see some hands. Denise, Veronica, Z, Aliyah, Stacy, Ariel, Kaisha, Abimbola. Okay, so with that, what is pagan? What is a pagan? Who could tell me what that is? Now I want to hear you.
It's the worship of an idol or some form of yeah, some sort of idol. Paganism. That's how I view it. Worshiping something.
Okay. And so is this like a statue?
It could be a statue. It could be any form of a statue, or it could be a form. I don't even have a word. Something. I mean, you know, some pictures, or you know, I don't have words this morning.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, no worries, you'll get there. Ariel in the chat says, well, let me see. All right, she says it was to celebrate and welcome the harvest season. Pagan is seeing God in all living things, like nature and animals. And I see the three hands up, and I'm assuming that's not for my question earlier. So Veronica, what do you have? What are your thoughts? What is a pagan? Okay.
Okay, so as I think about it, as Abimbola said, I thought about the Druids that built Stonehenge and those places, and that they used to celebrate the changing of the seasons, right? So it could be that that might have something to do with it. But then I also thought of the Jews, and that around this time, I guess about a month ago, they were dressing up in costumes and going from house to house and getting candy also. And they're not considered pagan. So it's a mystery to me. I'm very interested to hear where this goes. Thank you.
Sure. And
Kinyofu, this is Teresa. Good morning.
good morning.
One of the things about the Jews is called Purim. That's the holiday that the Jewish people celebrate when they get decorated. Based on I grew up in church, they were saying that pagan holidays was holidays that didn't honor God. That was one of the things that I was told when I was growing up. And I'm complete.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So pagan is non-Christian, right? So from the Christian perspective, it's non-Christian. From other perspectives, it is anything that any practice that is not the main religion. So a Christian could say that a Jewish religion is pagan because they don't follow God, right? Or Muslim, they don't follow God. But Muslims could look at any other religion and be like, oh, pagan, because they're not part of their religion. But the real definition for pagan is a country dweller, someone that lives in the country. So if you can imagine 400 or 500 years ago, people living, in wooden houses, and you got the city, towns are being developed. So you got the city that's developing, but you still have the people live out there in the woods, because everybody lived at the woods at one point. The woods being the country. So that's a pagan. And in the country, you are closer to nature. So if you lived on a farm, your hands will be in the dirt every day, or on an animal. So you're living a very different life, and your connection is to nature. You're so connected to nature that you're living a different life than that city dweller who has to wake up at the crack of dawn to go to work, to do the thing, and to keep going. And we all know that life, right? So we're a little less connected to nature. So when you hear the word pagan, when many of us hear the word pagan, we're thinking ill of them. We're thinking something is wrong. We're thinking they don't believe, right? So so therefore pagans were made wrong. And the question, and this is just a rhetorical question, is how were pagans made wrong? There's many beliefs in the world, many beliefs, many religions, many languages, many cultures, many different types of people, many countries, many tribes or subsets of countries. But even in the United States, right? Some influential person or people from the church, people who decided, okay, we have a strong religious belief here, and we're powerful, or we know powerful people, we're going to get together and we're going to make this a thing. So it's like they formed a clique, and they figured that if they could get other people to join in, then their clique is going to get stronger. And sure enough, it did. They focused on the outliers and made them wrong. So the forest livers, the forest people, they lived out, right? So they're the outliers, and they were made wrong. They well, let's just say this, that they were called names. Rumors were spread about them. They were bullied. They were accused of doing bad things. They were set up to fail. Now, they also, the reason why all of that, and it came down so hard on these people, and one of the reasons is because they communicated with what was unseen. So the communication with the ancestors and communications with the spirits, the spirits which were called gods or deities. And the funny thing is that people would frown on pagans or ancestor worshipers. However, every time you go to the store and you give some money on that dollar bill, there's an ancestor on there. Not our ancestor, but there's an ancestor on there, right? We want more money. We want more of those ancestors. Like, that's a whole ritual in and of itself. And ritual is a way of doing something every time in order to get something. So ritual is going to work. You go to work every day, because you want to get something. That's a ritual that you're engaging in. And these are the things that was frowned on. So even though we do it, or even though the Christians of that day, that time, were doing it themselves, they would look at those people lived in the country and say, oh, they're bad. There's ancestor worship in states. I live in Washington, DC, or Washington, George Washington, okay? There's towns and there's streets, and I lived in Brooklyn. I was on Hancock Street, John Hancock, all right? And buildings are named after ancestors. Most of them not ours. I don't know any buildings actually. Maybe there are some buildings that have been renamed, but point is, ancestor worship is there. And so setting them up to fail was, it turned into witch trials. And when I saw somebody share that they like to dress up as witches and go out into the world to play Halloween, I'm here to say that witches are real people, and witches were people who practiced their faith in the country. They didn't necessarily call themselves pagans, by the way. They just lived in the country, but they were doing their nature work. And because of that, they got in trouble. So I'm going to ask Nija if she could play the video that I have for you all. And just a heads up, it's 5 minutes long, but I find that it's really enlightening. So, and as you're watching it, I want you to take down notes. If you haven't already begun taking down notes, again, thinking about what you're learning and what you're making associations to.
Samhain is a pagan religious festival originating from an ancient Celtic spiritual tradition. Samhain translates to summer's end and is usually celebrated from October the 31st to November the 1st to welcome the harvest and acknowledge and greet the dark half of the year. In Celtic Ireland around 2,000 years ago, Samhain was the division of the year between the lighter half of summer and the darker half of winter. It is a spiritual new year for Druids and pagans, a time for reflecting on what has been and envisioning what will be, and a time to remember our ancestors, since during this time The veil between the realms of the living and the realms of the dead is believed to be thinnest. Across these 3 nights and days, the world of the supernatural was believed to be more visible than at any other time period. This is a time when the line between our worlds was essentially blurred. Fae, spirits and sprites would be up to tricks and trouble. Spirits and the ghosts of the dead were also thought to roam the earth. Crops and animals would be sacrificed, offerings would be left out, and huge protective bonfires built and burned to appease deities and mischievous spirits during this time. Ancestors were honoured and welcomed into the home with especially prepared food and offerings, while any spirits regarded as harmful or malevolent were warded away. People would wear costumes and masks to disguise themselves, so any spirits with harmful intentions would not recognise them. This is the festival that celebrates the time of year when summer goes to rest. Pagan practice is based on the wheel of the year, which is divided into 2 halves, light and dark. Samhain, the fire festival, marks the beginning of the dark half of the year and is situated between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice, marking the end of summer and the harvest that comes with it, as well as the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time for rest and reflection. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III named November the 1st as a time to honour All Saints, and All Saints' Day would come to adopt many of the traditions of Samhain, such as the wearing of costumes. The evening before was known as All Hallows' Eve, and later Halloween. The Irish carried their Halloween traditions to America, where today it is one of the major holidays of the year, though other traditions have blended into Halloween. For example, the American harvest time tradition of carving pumpkins. Over time, Halloween evolved into a day of activities like trick-or-treating, carving jack-o'-lanterns, festive gatherings, donning costumes and eating sweet treats. But Samhain, with its emphasis on the supernatural, is unmistakably pagan. Many people believe that Samhain has dark and demonic roots. Often misunderstood, pagans and druids were considered to be evil worshippers of devilish or demonic gods and spirits, and the Celtic underworld became identified with the Christian hell. The misconception was largely due to a British amateur historian who first visited Ireland in 1762, known as Charles Vallancey. Vallancey claimed that linguists had mistranslated the word Samhain. Instead of meaning summer's end, he argued it actually referred to a Celtic god, alternately named Balsab, Bal meaning lord and Sab meaning death. His writings perpetuated the myth that the Celts celebrated a demonic god, Lord Samhain, with burnt human sacrifices and other barbaric rituals. Today, Halloween has become a holiday or masquerade like Mardi Gras, but many of the original traditions of Samhain still persist. There will be several videos coming on this channel throughout October that focus on Samhain and its traditions, rituals and spells that you can perform, how to decorate your home or...
Okay, thank you. You need to hear her advertisement. Ooh. Okay, so what were your thoughts from watching the video? Anything that you learned?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Simani. I didn't know about the reason why people dress up, the costumes and warding off evil spirits, I think, or not being recognized. Yeah, so that's something new I learned.
And in America, that's not like today's America, that's not the why people dress up, that they're dressed up because it's fun. So there's been an adaptation, right, of and a merging of traditions. And there's quite a few other merging of traditions. And everywhere you go, you will notice, like, people will have a blending of names because they got two cultures that they are working with. The blending of architecture and a whole bunch of other things. So yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Teresa?
It kind of reminds me of us as Black people, how we have been, made to be bad people when we are not bad people, but, because they have, looking at the color of our skin and making us, to be, like dangerous and stuff like that. So kind of, the information was great, but I also, feel that we are dealing with some of the same thing, with the separation, and abuse of our people. And I'm complete.
Absolutely, thank you. And you're doing part of the assignment of finding out, thinking about where the similarities lie, what you see that makes sense in your life today. I want to, and I see a Miles' hand is up. I want to say that I didn't, as a family, I didn't have my children celebrate Halloween because it wasn't part of our culture. So we did the things that matched our culture. Amal? Amal?
Yes, what I got, just like when white men went to Africa and saw that we honored our sun, we honored animals and the strength of the animals, and they came away thinking that we were pagans because they didn't understand what we were doing because they weren't in the culture and didn't understand that. And that's how they took Halloween, or the what was the Irish, and interpreted what they were doing, and all they were doing was honoring their spirits, their ancestors, and then made it into something that was demonic or pagan. So they're good at doing that, white people. Excuse me.
A lot of us are, even us. So the things that we don't understand, we will make up stories about, and we will hide behind what we do know. And the way that you undo that is to learn, is to go to the other side, to open up your eyes and your ears and see what there is to see. So, oh, Ariel had her hand up and then it went down. Ariel, did you want to share? Okay, maybe not.
Hi, Aaliyah had her hand up. How you doing? Good morning. The video was very interesting. It's pretty much what I learned growing up. My parents they didn't allow us to celebrate Halloween, and I don't really allow my children to celebrate Halloween. However, I just wish there was another way that we could come together as a community or a nation where people, connect, break bread, dress up if they want without it being Halloween. And then just to kind of piggyback or to tie into a little bit of what Mother Amal was saying, I've been recently reading information about like the Africans that were brought to this country. And a lot of them were Muslim, right? And this is not, I'm not being anti-white, but just about how oftentimes the Westerners or the colonialists, or the slave masters made people seem as if they were doing something wrong. So like a lot of those slaves, they were trying to perform salat. And it was considered like voodoo. They were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And that's how a lot of them actually, they became Christian because, imagine coming from Africa, going on a plantation, and some people are still trying to practice making salat. And then the slave masters seeing them bow down, and it's like, oh no, they're worshiping, it's a pagan religion, or they're worshiping something really bad. So, and even what Teresa was saying too, like, how oftentimes things that we do are made to seem negative. So it's a very important to know your history and to get information. And I'm complete.
Thank you, Aliyah. Yeah, it is important to know your history, and it's very helpful to know other people's history as well, and to see how they merged and why they merged, if they merge, and ask yourself, do you want to do the merging? Voodoo, the word voodoo is it's taken as the word pagan. So when we hear voodoo, we think, oh, that's bad and evil, just like we hear the word pagan. Remember, pagan is a country dweller. Voodoo is, and know that voodoo is the voodoo, which is the name of a religion that Haitians practice. Their religion comes from Nigeria, comes from Africa, right? So there's this connection that's amazing, and it's very similar to the pagan religions. It is a pagan religion. It's him. So you have the pagan religions, the religion of Wicca. It comes from people from Ireland and Scotland, and the way that they practice is very similar to the way that traditional Africans practice their religions. Now, what I here in America, there was this time period that took out a lot of people, and this is the witch hunts. You've heard of them, maybe you've read about them. It was very, very serious. Who were the witches? The witches, again, are people who practice Wicca. They were the accused. Not necessarily were they people who practice Wicca, the accused. They were accused by people in the church who decided that that anybody who did not follow directions was wrong. So, and anybody who did something different was wrong. Anybody that looked different was wrong. Anybody that looked suspicious was wrong. They might not have been pagans. They might have been your city dwelling neighbor. But because the power that the church had and the power that they gave you, the city dweller or whomever, to be able to point a finger and say, he or she, that was enough to create what a witch was. Witches were women, or those accused of being witches were women, largely women. And the thing about women is that women have magical powers, like just naturally, right? We bleed and don't die. We give birth to human beings. We're intuitive, we're emotional. That's a whole big unknown, a huge unknown from men. Who are witches? Men, children, non-Christians, visitors. You could be coming from another town, another far, far away. They never heard of that far, far away place. You're suspicious. If you are an independent thinker, which I'm hoping that you all are here, independent thinkers on building witches. If you were outspoken, you said, nope, not me, not doing it. If you were quiet, if you were a healer, in whatever means or form that you were a healer, if you knew things, if you were older, if you were different, if you were ill, you had an illness, if you were around ill people, if you were unmarried, if you were widowed, if you owned cats or Black animals or any animals, if you spoke out against the church, if you were a herbalist, you had some plants growing in the backyard, and you pull some stuff and you put it in a pot and you stir it up. You got your brew growing, right? Maybe you're making some soup, whatever. Oh, Which, if you were a woman and owned property, if you held meetings, if you're a woman and held meetings, if you had no children, if you had children who died or miscarried, if you were around people who had children who died, if you were mentally ill, and listen, I'm still going, right? If you were married to a man who no longer wanted to be married to you, there was no divorce, so I'll call her a witch. They'll get rid of her. If you did something unusual, whatever. If you did something unusual when the weather changed suddenly, right? The list goes on, but I'm not going to. But really, what were witches? They were practitioners of Wicca, an earth-based pre-Christian religion originating, again, like I said, in Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. It's similar to the African, and this is, oh no, okay, sorry. It's similar to African and Caribbean pre-Christian religions such as Yoruba, Lukumi, Santeria, Voodoo, and the list goes on, because for every country there is in Africa, there's at least five spiritual traditions, and they are pretty similar. Any quick thoughts? Okay.
A lot of us are witches in here. God,
Exactly.
Jesus,
Yes.
it's like crazy.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
That's right. I know that's right.
All right, I'm gonna show you this video. Now, this video is another story, and I find that it's really, really important to show this video. This video is going to tie this all together. As I'm mentioning about the Wiccans who were from Ireland, Scottish, and Wales, and I'm speaking about the Africans and the religions that they have. I'm not excluding the Latino people, right? So we have this merging of experiences, and so it comes out in the religion, Santeria. It's a 25-minute video. I'm giving you that heads up, and parts of it is a little slow. I'm going to try to skip over it and enjoy, is all I can say. It's a video that is produced by George Clinton. And okay, there we go. It's called The First Commandment.
Can't hear.
Oh. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
The point I'm trying to make, Your Eminence, is that this statue is a great work of art. It should be on display in our museum, along with other art treasures.
Blessed Virgin of Charity represents compassion and belongs in a church. If the people want to see it, they're welcome to our church.
Well, if your church were a little more accessible, I could see your point, Father Carlos, but I mean, who's going to travel all the way to the South Bronx just to see this statue?
People who live in the South Bronx.
Oh, Father Carlos, be reasonable.
I'm sure that Mr. Spivey is not insensitive to the needs of your parishioners. In fact, I'm sure that in exchange for the statue, the museum would be willing to make a donation to the capital fund of the Archdiocese. We maintain this fund to make repairs and improvements on churches with the greatest need.
So the museum's donation will be earmarked for repairs in my church?
As I said, the donation will be made to the Archdiocese Capital Fund.
Then we have a deal?
Oh, yes. I'll have my office draw up the papers, and you can make the arrangements to pick up the statue.
Very good, Your Eminence.
Oh.
Father Carlos? This is for the best. I mean, the interest of the larger community is better served.
Why?
Mr. Spivey put it best. For the good of the larger community.
And I assume the community we were primarily concerned with was the Catholic community. In this case, the people who attend my church.
Are you sure they are all Catholics?
Oh, I see what this is about. It's because of some of my parishioners' involvement with Santeria, isn't it?
Now, I have spoken to you about this before. The church will not tolerate pagan traditions and practices, yet you refuse to speak out against it in your sermons.
Santeria is the religion of their ancestors. It can be traced back through Puerto Rico, Cuba, and the Yoruba people of ancient Africa before even the time of Christ.
Yes, and that is why our Lord sent down his only Son to save their heathen souls.
And they have accepted him. They keep their ancestors alive by combining their identities with our saints.
This is not acceptable. This is God's first commandment. Now they must choose whether they are pagans or Catholics.
Father Carlos, how are you? How you doing? Come on inside, I want to talk to you, okay? Don't you remember me from the church? Hey, la gente estaba hablando de mí.
You know, I've been hearing some rumors, Father Carlos, that the museum is going to take away our shoe. You mean the Blessed Virgin of Charity?
Yes. Are you going to let them take it?
It's not up to me. Decisions of this magnitude are made by the Archdiocese.
And?
And their recommendation is for the saint to be moved to the museum.
Is it because we share the saints?
Yes. I mean, well, perhaps in part. Please understand, I don't agree with the decision to move the saint. But I took a vow to the church. I must be obedient.
Padre Carlos, mira lo que tenemos aquí. Mira todos los santos que hay aquí. Santeria has accepted the saints. Why is it that Catholicism cannot accept the Orishas? Where did you grow up?
Right here in the Bronx.
And your parents?
In Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico. So you see, you are a priest and a Puerto Riqueño. So do you acknowledge that part of the blood that flows in your veins goes back to Africa and its gods?
There is one true God.
Okay, está bien, I agree. What is his name?
Commercial break right here. I know that it's 7:54. Some folks might need to leave to wherever you go, and so you can, I do thank you for joining in. Contact information will be dropped in the chat. I heard, I saw Teresa ask for the video to be dropped in the chat, so I will, I can get that to you. If not before this session, then I'll definitely put it in Facebook. And I'm going to continue with the video. Before I do that, I'm going to ask if there's any thoughts so far from what you saw. Any thoughts? Amal?
Yeah, I thought about what you said, and this is bearing it out that people generally accept other people's religious beliefs. In ancient times, they just lived in different areas, but once they were colonized, I said white man, and I still say white man. Once they colonized, and then the white men couldn't, and those entities could not see how to control the people except through the religion. That was one way they control, is through the religion or through the belief system. Then the idea of this is wrong and this is right and we don't do this and we're going to kill whoever's not along with us came into that thought. So that's why, and that's bearing it out. The fact that the Santa Maria had their own saints, but the Catholic entities wanted that to be something that they could control. And I'm
Right.
agree.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Santeria is the religion practiced by Spanish Caribbean countries. So I skipped the video just a little bit. I see 2 more hands or another hand. Hold on a moment. Right after, there's nothing important. What you saw, what you didn't see, because I skipped it, are people now protesting. The people are protesting. And so the father is here to talk to them. Teresa.
We're living in a control system right now. And it bothers me the way that everything is being controlled by the government, you know, to such a degree that it's really sad, because it's like as if our rights are being taken away. So it's just the same similar thing, is that if we don't go along with whatever the government says, then, you know, we're considered bad people and separated from one another. So we actually live in that right now, and I'm complete.
Thank you, Teresa. All right, y'all keep taking notes.
You get out of here. You don't want to do this.
Please, let them enter. Let them through.
God, look at this place, man.
What you think?
That's a big job.
Why are you letting them take our Oshun away?
The church phone said you left 25 minutes ago. I hope you were extremely careful moving this statue. I mean, it was all boxed, crated, tied down correctly. And what about your driving? Did you hit any potholes? Huh? No sudden stops? You were slow around the turns? I hope you realize that you are transporting an extraordinarily valuable piece of art.
We questioned the drivers and their stories check out. They said they made no stops along the way, and that's confirmed by their travel time.
Statues of this size and weight don't just disappear, especially from locked cargo trucks. There has to be some explanation, either negligence, theft, or fraud. Something.
We agree. Now, organized crime has made significant inroads in the trucking industry, so we intend to focus our investigation there. I'll keep you informed as the investigation progresses, Cardinal.
Now, this change of events is not going to affect the museum's donation to the Archdiocese, is it? I'm holding you responsible.
Didn't the captain say it was probably linked to organized crime?
I heard what he said. Now, you listen to what I'm saying, because your sermons could have prevented this.
What do you mean? How?
If the police don't trace the statue to organized crime, they'll probably trace it to some Puerto Rican in the South Bronx who can't tell the difference between the Blessed Virgin and some mumbo-jumbo idol.
A mí me parece que te vi con la hija de Doña María el domingo pasado. ¿No fue así? Hey, Padre Carlos! Surprised to see you.
I'm sure you are.
What's the matter? Something wrong?
Yeah. The saint never arrived at the museum.
Que no? Does that mean that the church maybe changed their mind? Is it back in the church now?
Oh, so you're saying you know nothing about the theft of the statue?
Theft? Of course I know nothing about a theft. How could you? You think I had something to do with it? Padre Carlos, you have misjudged me. I'm going to ask you to leave.
You still haven't answered my question.
Who sent you to ask me such a question, huh? Whose errand boy are you? A white Irish cardinal that he sent his Puerto Rican altar boy down to the jungle to interrogate the
Have you no respect?
No, I respect! I respect those who respect me.
The padrino asked you to
Take
leave.
your hands off me! I'm sorry. Are you okay? I'm sorry. Yo no sé lo que está pasando, pero... ¿Estás bien? Are they trying to blame you for what is happening?
No. Why would you think that?
Because I have never known you to be disrespectful or to make wild accusations. And I know that when pressure hits, the shit rolls downhill. Padre Carlos, next time the Cardinal wants to make you the man in the middle, you remember 3 things, okay? Primero, who you are. Segundo, what you are. Y tercero, y más importante que nada, where you came from. Because you can be sure, those are 3 things the Cardinal never forgets.
Come here, don't walk away from me when I'm talking to you.
What?
Now, look at it, I gave you $300 worth of crack, and you'll come back here with a damn $100?
Look, you tripping. Look, homeboy came up short. You're gonna hit me back later, and I'm gonna set you straight. What's the deal? What?
Look at it, I taught you better than that. You understand what I'm saying? You come back with all my money, don't come back at all.
Man, you bugging. Look, I got gang.
Look, no, hey, don't make me chase you. Come here, come here.
I ain't no patriot. I spent 2 years in Vietnam.
You must be a goddamn fool.
I spent 2 years running away from Vietnam.
Damn, baby, you must be looking for Jesus. They said he was coming, but he ain't showed yet.
Why don't you seek shelter in that building?
You must be from Jerusalem. That's a crack house. And if you ain't coming to buy crack, just stay away.
Where she going? She can't go in there. She gonna get a knuckle ass kick.
Miss Ma'am, Miss Lady, Miss Crown Lady, Lady Ma'am, Mama, Mama Caesar.
Yo.
Mama, Lady, Mama.
Apple, where are you, man? They have to cabrón. You son of a bitch. Hijo de la puta.
I think we have found the saint.
What's going on in there?
Ask him.
You know what's happening up there? How about you? What's happening up there? Mrs. Gonzalez, what's happening up there?
The saint from the church. She's alive.
What?
She blessed me. She's so beautiful. She's so kind.
If you want to know what is happening, you have to go inside. You do believe in miracles, don't you?
We're bringing you live pictures from the...
Okay, pausing the video again. I'm going to fast forward to the best of my ability here. There's the news is not saying anything. They're just doing what they do. The priest is putting pressure on the father to get the statue. Stop these people, you know, and then get the statue. So the father goes inside. And that's where I'm going to take you. So any thoughts in the meantime? We all, like all religions, have some form of prayer, and the people on the street, you saw them, the girl, the crack dealer, she immediately, when she ran away for her life, she immediately saw the scene and she went down to pray. She went into prayer mode because she's probably been attending the church. And she also might be Santeria. Regardless, she's recognizing something different in front of her. And she went into prayer. And in her going into prayer, she was protected. The guy with the gun, he didn't know what was happening to him, but something was happening to him. So you could think about right now, those times in your life when you prayed for something and then something changed in your life. So we all have that power, that ability. And the way that we go about doing it is different. So the way that you do something is not any worse or any better than the way that somebody else does something. So I'm going to press play. I don't see any hands up.
Holy Mother, I've been sent to ask you what you want.
If you want to know what I want, you must first address me by my true name.
I guess I do not know your true name.
Yes, you do. I am Oshun.
She said her name was Oshun.
She's also our blessed Virgin of Charity.
Come on, give us a hand here.
With the chairs. Put the chairs, man.
is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
What did I say?
What do you mean?
The Blessed Virgin of Charity was in that room. But when I addressed her, she said her name was Oshun. And then she transformed herself into a...
I know what you may have seen, but you must hold on to your faith.
But this was a sign from the Orisha. A sign from my ancestors.
My son, this is not about ancestors or race. This is about faith. There are many mysteries we don't understand. We don't deny them their magic, but these things are distractions from your faith, which is expressed in a quiet power. Do you remember when our Lord Jesus Christ was tested and tempted by visions in the desert?
But wasn't this a miracle?
You must sometimes look away from miracles so you can keep your eyes on God.
I'm pausing it right here. All right. I know this is a movie and somebody wrote it, but the words I feel like are really powerful and representative. So this phrase, this sentence he says, tell me, I'm just feeling like, I just want to hear what you all say. You must sometimes look away from miracles so you can keep your eyes on God. Does that, I mean, isn't the Bible and God and the whole religion about, all religions, isn't it about the miracles? Teresa?
Yes,
Oh.
yes, of course, of course. It's like, that's just so, what you call it? Hypocritical for even him to say that. That's just craziness. It's like, oh man, that just blew my mind, that statement. This whole movie is just amazing to me. It just got me thinking about so much stuff. Thank you, Kenya, for bringing it to us. Appreciate it.
You know, according to the court, will you finish, Teresa? I'm sorry, but because this has got me pumped too. According to A Course in Miracles, it says every day there's a miracle, and the miracle is within you. When you see something that resonates for you and it moves you to a higher vibration, that's a miracle. How are you going to ignore the miracles, the little miracles in life or the big ones, just to keep, like you're not keeping your eye on God and what he wants for you? That doesn't make sense. I agree. Oxymoron.
And the thing is, like, there's a difference between religion and spirituality. Okay, so this pastor, father, priest, okay, this priest, he's representing the religion, and it has to look a certain way. And it has to be somebody in charge. Obviously, he's in charge. He's the one that was, half of the deal to take the saints away. So he's about money, and that's a whole nother thing. In the witch craze, the church made so much money that all the women that were accused, guess where their property went? Whatever property, if they had business, if they had money, if they had a house, it went to the church. So it was major incentive to kill the witches because the church made money. So there's religion, and then there's spirituality. Spirituality is when you come from within and you have a belief, and that belief works for you, and you follow the belief, and the goal is to be good, to do good, to the best of your ability. In these pagan faiths, it's spirituality, it's not religion. There is no one person over you saying you do this, you do that. It is the understanding that you are accountable to nature itself, to God, and all the aspects of God. So you have So when you hear deities, you think, oh, there's multiple gods. And it looks like that, but doesn't it look like that in Catholic religions? They have the saints, there's multiple saints, but they speak on one God. And it's the same thing in the pagan religions. It's just not, it's just defined differently. It's represented differently. And there's probably a reason for that, because they want to create the other. They want to create a division. So yeah, let's continue on.
Con permiso, Padre Carlos, I'm sorry to disturb you before Mass. I've been trying to reach you. I need to speak to you about your obligations.
The matter is closed. The museum has the statue and there's nothing I can do about it.
The museum has a mold of plaster and paint. I am here to discuss your obligations to the living saint that revealed herself to you.
My tolerance is wearing thin. The time has come for you to make a choice.
You don't understand. There are circumstances when the Orisha makes the choices for us. Padre Carlos, the gate is now open.
Popo malode, ayala popo malode, ayala popo malode, oile kele monde, ayala popo malode. Ochukole, kole mo dansa. Iyalode, kole mo dansa. Ochukole, kole mo dansa. Ochukole, kole mo dansa. Ochukole, kole mo dansa. Iyalode, kole mo dansa. Iyalode, kole mo dansa. Ibuanya, kole mo dansa. Ochukole, kole mo dansa. Ibuanya, kole mo dansa. Ochukole, kole mo dansa. Iyalode, kole mo dansa. Ochunyumu, kole mo dansa. Iyalode, kole mo dansa. Iyalode, kole mo dansa. Ochulode, kole mo dansa. Ibuanya, kole mo dansa. Ochunyumu, kole mo dansa. Ochulode, kole mo.
All right. Thank you for watching the movie with me. I want to add to this, that in the pagan religions, there's no devil. But that's not how it's portrayed. The portrayal is that this energy, this creation is the work of the devil. There's no devil. There's devil in the Christian religions. And in the pagan religions, there's no perfection in any of the deities, that the deities are as fallible as we are. Mama?
Yes, that last scene was profound because in the church during service, the spirit of Santa Maria was going through people and they were gyrating. And then when it panned up to the empty space where the Blessed Mother was supposed to be, to me that meant that it has nothing to do really with a statue. That energy that is inside each individual, and that's how it's carried. I thought that was interesting. I'm sorry, I cut off before I finished the statement. That it has nothing to do with a statue, really.
That's profound what you just shared, and yes, I agree. And where the statues are representation of a thing. So we make vision boards, and we put affirmations on the wall, or we have pictures of our ancestors or our family members, and these are all representations. We got John Carl has the Wake Up Everybody logo, right? We have our images as profile pictures on our Zoom. Those are representations. Those are things to remind us of who we are, where we come from, and what we want. So when the pagans, or when Christians or non-pagans will look at what pagans do, you know, they're like, there's this statue, there's this thing that they are seemingly praying to. It looks like they're worshiping a statue, when in fact they are worshiping what the statue represents. The statue is a reminder of the God element, the energy, the nature energy. So yeah, it's in us. And then there's people who are in the parishioners. They weren't even getting the sacrament. They were there in, you know, at their seats, but the energy is real, and they were feeling something. And it's also ancestral. So the blood picks it up, your blood, if you are open. Okay. I see Teresa.
I feel that because of the lack thereof of spiritual knowledge of other cultures has limited our ability to understand, you know, like because of being on Wake Up, I learned a lot of stuff about African culture that I never knew. And just experiencing this film is something that's, you know, mind-boggling to me. You know, it just lets me know how much we are not really in control. And when we try to put people in control of religions or anything like that, then we miss out on the beauty of the world and all the gifts that it has to offer. Because just me learning things about African culture and honor my ancestors, I see the difference in my life when I didn't do it. Because even in the Bible, they honor, you know, like they even different people, but why can't I honor my grandmother, my mother, and all the different ones who's going on? So, and I've actually been dealing with something, a personal, and I've been asking them to come in and assist me, and I feel that they're there. So, I'm glad that, you know, I learned about this, and I'm learning more about it on a daily basis. I just really appreciate you and, you know, what you're giving us today, and I'm complete.
Thank you. I see a comment from a Kaisha, and I think I partially explained it. I do want to say that for each or most of the Catholic saints, there is an equivalent, a deity equivalent in African tradition. So we saw the Virgin Mary. She's Yemeya, the mother, right? Yemeya is a deity in Yoruba religion, or Isis, right? Is another word that you might have heard. So when the African people were told they couldn't practice their religion, they saw the correlation. They said, oh, Mother Queen, you know, Mary, the Virgin Mary, isn't she sounds like Yemeya. So when I pray to the Virgin Mary to look like I'm being a good Christian, I'm really praying to Yemeya. And so and then I shared about the blood and the energy, and that's the correlation between African dance and chanting and the Catholic practice. Laura says they want to disempower us, but they can't rob us of our spirituality. I heard this statement recently: spirituality is our technology, while technology is their spirituality. Yes. And Teresa from Facebook, Teresa Plaskett says, the church couldn't monetize the other religious practices. I remember learning about indulgences, penance, offerings, and purgatory prayers. Yeah. So, few minutes, I want to share some other things. And we're told a bunch of things. We're told some things, and then we look at it, it really doesn't make sense. We're told, and I'm kind of doing a summary and pulling many things together. We're told man gave his rib to make woman. That's what we're told, right? Whereas women really give birth to men and women, right? We're told Western doctors are the go-to for our ailments because they are professionals who are well studied. However, they were not. Okay, that the doctor, their profession was created by themselves. It has to start somewhere. So some influent white men got together and they said, hey, let's create medicine, this field of medicine. But they didn't have anything to work off of. What they had to work off of is what they experienced at the hands of midwives who were part of the healers that were accused of witchcraft and that were killed. So medicine was based on the knowledge of the healers that were eradicated. These doctors were not taught Eastern medicine. They had their Western medicine. So they don't know anything about acupuncture, Reiki, sacrocranial, yoga, herbs, anything like that. It's quackery, okay? Because it didn't fit into their practice and their institution or what they created. So even though other countries thrive and do well, their people heal on these other practices, Western medicine largely is like, nope, that doesn't fit into what I learned and what I know, and this is what I know, and this is what I'm doing. And what they're doing doesn't necessarily work. So they're not, they were taught by the midwives, but they told the midwives, they told the world, the midwives and the healers and the old witches and that they were all dirty and dangerous. And that the work that they did wasn't necessarily working in the beginning, right? Kaisha, you have your hand up.
Yes, good morning. Because I wanted to go back to a statement that you said about there's different practices in different cultures. They have their own. And so as I was watching the video and listening to the conversation, what came up for me was how I want to say Mexican, because that's the community that I live in, how they celebrate the Dawn of the Dead, or the Dia de los Muertos. And it's something similar to what you said, how pagan culture was celebrated the proper way, other than how we were taught that they celebrated. So the Day of the Dead is a 2-day celebration, like pagan religion, November 1st and November 2nd. So the Mexican people still celebrate Halloween, but then they go into their own culture celebrations. And I just and it's a day to celebrate deceased family members or friends, and even including like celebrity icons, anyone that they believe in. So down here in South Texas, it's Selena, because Selena's from Corpus. So they're really big into her, and they celebrate her. And I guess I just brought this up because, like I said, it's in the community. So witchcraftery and paganism is not, but the celebration of the Day of the Dead, the Dia de los Muertos, is in correlation with paganism, based on it's just a celebration. It's not, Mexicans are also Catholic, so they do believe in Mary and God, and they do have a religion. It's just that this is their celebration for their culture.
Exactly, that's what it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
We were told that witches are that witches are devilish, that witches consort with the devil. Yet, like I said, there is no devil in their experience. Yet, devilish things were done to them in the name of inquiry and justice. So in order to identify a witch, you're accused and you say, no, I'm not a witch, they'll say, okay, prove it. We're going to put you underwater for 10 minutes. And if you're still alive after 10 minutes, then you're not a witch. Or we'll put heavy weight on you. And if you don't scream, then you're not a witch. So stupid things like that. Okay, there were no doctors until they began to see the dollar signs, and surgery was their entry into doctorship. Because they started with barbers. Barbers had the license to use a scissor or a knife. And then they were like, okay, well, let's train you to be a doctor. So now you can use your scissor or knife on women who are having difficulty in childbirth. So where it was a good thing to think that woman is stuck in childbirth and is not birthing vaginally, naturally, easily, then you can cut the baby out. There was a whole host of other problems that came with that. And they also gave them control, and they took advantage of that. And that's part of how birth left, one part of how birth left the hands of midwives. Okay, whatever the doctors couldn't fix, they blamed it on sorcery and found a woman to accuse. And okay, I have a whole long list of things here, and it's 8:34. So let's see. Doctors frowned at midwife potions, but they had thought nothing of giving a lobotomy. That's drilling a hole through somebody's head in order to let out whatever evil spirits are in there. And, okay. Okay, said that. And, okay. We make a fuss about women in Africa getting circumcised, but easily circumcise our boys' hair, not for religious reasons, some of us, a lot of us, and not for health reasons, but for cosmetic purposes. And we look sideways at Africans who will pass their baby through smoke after birth for protection, but we don't think about how, they don't think twice about christening our babies for their protection. It's the same thing, it's just done different way. Baptizing, the same thing. Okay. And last thing I'm gonna say, before doctors, midwives, and witches were responsible for discovering scopolamine. Scopolamine, okay. It's a medicine that's used to to fix motion sickness, to cure motion sickness, relieves nausea, and stops cramps. Atropine, which is a muscle relaxant, is used to calm patients during surgery. It was used before anesthesia. And haloperidol is an antipsychotic drug. And aspirin was found in willow bark, is used to reduce inflammation. And garlic lowers cholesterol and prevents blood clots. With that, I am complete. Z says, wouldn't it be the opposite? It's not normal to still alive after being on the, right. Exactly. There's no way to win. You were made to fail. There was no way to win. You were accused, basically you were dead. Because they will send you through the trial, you sit on the court, and just all these other strange things will happen. Even if you heal people, you healed this person, that person, this person, that person, you have a perfect record. The fact that you are a woman and had the audacity to try to do medicine and heal people, you're guilty. It is 8:36, I'm complete.
So Kinyofu, while I pull up the slides, why don't you share with the community your special offer
Okay, sure. So Manifest Destiny series is what I created, and last year I introduced it to you as part, I didn't share it as Manifest Destiny series, it was the dash, the 21-day dash. This year I got what was downloaded to me was to do an intensive workshop to go along with it. So this is the time of the year when we want to create the next year. We want to envision what it is we want for our lives, and we want to step up our game. So that's what the goal of the Manifest Destiny is. It will take you from your dream to the reality. You're creating a game plan. In the intensive workshop, it's a 2-hour workshop. This workshop will have you begin to dream, to think outside the box, to find that thing that you might desire, and then to create a visual for it. So now that visual that you can put on your wall and it's like, yeah, that's what I want, that's what you're going to create in the intensive workshop. There is the dash, the 21-day dash challenge. That's 21 days that you will be able to say, got my vision, now this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it, because I'm sharing with you some things to do. You'll be journaling, you'll be reading, you'll be watching videos, you'll be meditating, you'll be doing, so many things that are going to help fuel this vision that you have. So by the end of the 21 days, you will have a game plan, a written out a written out plan of what you're going to do, how you're going, when you're going to do it. So you now more than a vision of a picture, you now have a vision, like a calendar set up, so that it will get you to the next step. It is together they're $400. So I have them priced individually. You can email me for more information. But together it's $400, and I'm offering to the WOO community, just the WOO community, 50% off of that. So you can get both of those for $200, and just email me and let's do it. Email me, kinyofu@gmail.com.
Kinyofu, what are the dates?
So the day, yeah, I didn't put that on there. I'm going to be doing Wednesdays for the intensives, Wednesday, 7 o'clock. So the month of November, whatever those days are, for Wednesday evenings. And the challenge, the 21-day, begins on the 21st of November. So that you choose one date for the intensive, any of the Wednesdays in November. And then you will join in on the 21-day dash if you choose to. You don't have to do them both, but I recommend that you do.
Okay, I got it. So it's a 2-hour workshop plus 21 days.
Right.
Oh, got that. Ooh, thank goodness. I'm glad I asked. Thank you.
Okay. And so this is my contact information. My telephone number is here. I'm on Facebook, and on my personal page is Kinyofu, and I have my business page, which is Teaching for Resilience. And that is all of the work that I do for parenting and for building up people's ability to bounce back. I'm on Instagram at Kinyofu. I'm also on TikTok. Y'all need to find me on TikTok. I need to put that up on there. I've been doing TikToks. All right, same thing, Kinyofu. And my email is kinyofu@gmail. My website is choosetoevolve.com. And so I am so, I'm pleased, I'm honored, I'm excited. Like, this is a topic that I've been sitting on forever. And I was like, I can't present this topic, but I did. And it's been great. And I enjoyed every minute of it. There's so much that I have been blessed at being able to present to you over the course of Wake Up Everybody, stuff that I've been sitting on. So I rebirth myself every session, every presentation. I rebirth myself. I go into that piece of me that wants to shine and wants to be seen. And I show myself, and you have been there to hold me and just to receive me, and I'm grateful. This is, you can go, I'm asking you to donate. I'm asking you to help me in the work that I do so I can continue to grow. I'm learning to ask for things, and what I realize that I need and would love to have is marketing support. It takes a lot to get to have someone to support me to do the marketing. It takes the tools, you know, the computer, the maintenance of the internet, and all these other, you know what it takes to have a business. So I'm asking you to donate, to share what you have with me so I can continue to grow, continue to build. My vision goes beyond, it goes wide. I want to impact families around the world, and I want to empower people wherever they are, whatever they do. So you see, I do work with parents, and I also work with people that want something more in their lives. So you don't have to be a parent, just be someone that wants to see the next level. So I am, my code is number 441KM. KM is my initials. Go to Zella Quick Pay, SOW Leadership Development at Gmail, or Cash App at $ Spirit of a Woman. And the link will be dropped in the chat for you to follow, the link for Cash App.
Yes, so thank you, Kinyofu, for today's conversation. I know for me, it enlightened me on some things that I had not thought about or did not know about the practice or the celebration of Halloween. So thank you for that. We always have something juicy for you all here at WU. And tomorrow we have Martine coming up with the magic of 1, 2, 3, a parenting hack. And then on Tuesday, it is Transformation Tuesday with Stacy Yogisha. So I hope that you all are registered. If not, there is still time to register and join us tomorrow morning, and then again on Tuesday morning for what we have in store for you. If you are new to the community, please let us know. You can drop a message in the chat. If you are on Facebook, let us know in the comments that you're new to the community. And if you have only been here a couple of times, then you're new. So we want to know that you're new. We want to be able to welcome you, and we want you to keep coming back and to invite others so that our community can remain strong and continue to grow. If you are not aware or you need a reminder that our schedule is still Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. On those days, we have our 90-minute session from 7 to 8:30. We're here in Zoom space and we stream live on Facebook. And on Monday and Wednesdays, we have our 30-minute sessions, again, live on Zoom and streaming on Facebook from 7 to 7:30. We have an opportunity for you to receive alerts in the morning, just to remind you that we are in session, and down at the bottom of your screen, and it should be dropped in the chat shortly, you can text 74121, I'm sorry, text to 74121, and you're going to text WU Nation in the text section, and then you'll be added to the alert so that you'll start to receive those alerts in the morning. So we still have WU Nation swag. If you look at John Carl's screen, you'll see the logo. You can see the logo here on these items. Join us in getting some swag, sharing your swag with others. Share it on our Facebook page. Show people how you're using your swag. If you have a cup, show us, show yourself drinking your coffee or your water in your cup. Show pictures of you wearing your t-shirt or your sweatshirt or your mask in the Facebook page. But here is the link down at the bottom of the screen where you can shop for any number of these items and join us in getting some swag and representing WU Nation. Finally, these are the ways that you can keep in touch with us. They will be dropped in the chat. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. At the very top is the link for you to register for the daily sessions. And we have an email address so that you can email comments, suggestions, or let us know if you're interested in joining the team. Use the email for that. I'm going to stop sharing, and it is now time for our traditional woo shower for our presenter. So I'm going to remove the spotlight from our very own Kinyofu, and please unmute yourselves and share your thanks and your love for today's session where we all learned.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Kinyofu, for this
Thank
great
you,
work.
Kinyofu. Very enlightening.
Insightful, enlightening.
I learned a lot. It was
That'll
just
take us somewhere where you never thought about going.
I know.
Love
That's
it.
Thank you.
Love it how you
amazing.
tied
Really appreciate you.
Halloween and all the
This was
other
amazing.
spirituality.
I am illuminated by this information. Thank you.
I love everybody.
Wonderful.
Have
We'll
a
have to meet with you.
blessed day.
Have a
Wonderful
conversation about this.
history.
Love you. Peace
I
and blessings,
learned
family.
so
Y'all rock.
much
Everyone,
today.
y'all rock.
Love
you all.
Y'all rock, family. Y'all rock. Love y'all.